Hey, we are live with Gamebound, playing some more Legacy, Life Among the Ruins. We're
I've lost
rebuilding.
count of the amount of times I've lost count of the amount of times where we start with Jordan making a face and me cracking up at said face.
It does happen a lot. It's really funny because I never pay attention to what Jordan is doing when we're starting, but when I like edit the video afterwards, I always I'm like, oh, Jordan was like doing a whole thing there, and I never noticed it. Yeah, it happens a lot.
Oh yeah, like I'll sometimes do this stuff with my hands.
Yeah, exactly. You're always doing something. But we're here with Gamebound, playing some more Legacy Life Among the Ruins. So we're gonna rebuild the world from the ashes of the apocalypse. So far, it hasn't been going very well because
Nope.
Hey, we've had one session. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Two of our characters have died.
You got to burn a couple omelets in order to make a few eggs.
Is that a line from Bluey?
How else do we get the ashes, right? To rebuild from?
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, if it's a phoenix.
So we are going to pick up with these characters again.
Just sidestep that.
Yeah, last time there wasn't a whole lot of success. Two characters died. Jordan's character, who he wanted to die, didn't die, and now is in control of the family, or slowly becoming in control of the family. I'm trying to remember. Let's see what else happened. Mole aliens did get killed. The mole aliens that are threatening the world. They got killed. And there was some warp metal that got acquired, but not by any of the factions. I think it was the rebels from Jordan's faction that ended up getting it. Jordan's character. I believe it was like Jordan's character had alienated these people that he had like stolen their technology from, right? Their plans or whatever.
Right. They were the people. I think they were the people that killed Alyssa's character.
Exactly. Yeah, they came and killed Alyssa's character, and then they
got
the warp metal.
Knockers!
I don't know any of the words that you just said.
Here, let me switch to my other mic so you can clearly hear this voice in high fidelity.
Sounds good. But yeah, I think we're going to pick up with the other factions in the game, particularly the clan of the ancient mysteries, fox spirits.
Woo!
Let's go. Yeah. So
Find out what they say.
Yeah, exactly. We'll answer.
No one knows what sound they make.
Tonight on Legacy, we are going to find out what the fox truly says.
What do they say?
Is there some ancient prophecy that's like related to
one day the foxes will speak?
Everybody's.
Yeah. And what they say will change the course of all of our destinies.
Whoa.
Let's see.
And their sacred wisdom. Vanilla ice cream is better than Neapolitan.
It is.
That is just objectively true, yeah. If it was Neapolitan minus the chocolate, then 100%. That's great.
Okay, yes, that we can agree on.
I would say minus the strawberry, personally.
I'm glad you're on board with this, Alyssa.
I mean, I feel like Neapolitan minus any one of the flavors would be fine.
Yes, but I agree with Caleb that getting rid of the chocolate would make it the best.
Yeah. Agreed.
Strawberry and vanilla. Yeah, I can see that. It's like a strawberry milkshake at that point.
Exactly. Delicious. It's amazing. Chocolate is good with peanut butter and little else.
You don't want to know the things I've made with peanut butter, then.
I think I know some of them.
You and your peanut butter pickle.
Huh?
Peanut butter pickle.
I haven't done that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, Caleb, quick question before we start. Those resources we acquired last session, there's like a thing we can use to improve our roles that we didn't know that's what we could do with them. Where are those?
So that is data, I believe, is what you're talking about.
Okay, it is data then. Okay.
Data.
Yeah, so you'll often get this. It's probably the most free resource in the game. So I would spend it liberally to get advantage on the rolls you want to get advantage on. So
you could call it a free source of labor.
I wish we had known that earlier, but it's too late now. Characters are dead. Whatever.
it's all good. It's all good. I thought it was really funny how Alyssa's character literally drilled into the earth to try to save you and just killed you instead.
If I just had if I had advantage, I'd live. But that's enough about that.
Yeah, if you had advantage on any of those rolls.
You know what's funny about death and advantage, Seth? Sometimes it really doesn't actually help the way you think it will.
I think I was literally short by 1, though.
Yep, like every time.
I wonder what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So we're going to pick up with the Clan of the Ancient Mysteries. And I think what we are going to do is a envoy from the Guild of Last-Days Profiteers, the merchants. Let's see, what does it say here? It says for Arturin's character sheet here, I suspect Cinnamon is stealing my secrets for their family. And then you had stuff with him that said...
Yeah, something.
Arturin's actions led my adoptive clan to ruin, and I still haven't forgiven them for it. Luckily, Arturin doesn't know that I led the last ambush against their family. So I believe we were going to pick up with that interaction because Arturin was going to come to try to
squash our beef,
smooth things over. Yeah, exactly. Establish peaceful relations between.
What meat tenderizers are for?
Wait. Your character, Caleb, is trying to steal Cinnamon's secrets. Is that correct?
I'm waiting for the reference.
Is your character an apple?
Yeah. The amount of times that we've referenced Applejack's commercials in these Thursday shows is... Okay, let's put it this way. If I had a nickel for every time Applejack's commercials have been referenced on Thursday nights, I would have 5 nickels, which isn't a whole lot, but it is weird that it's happened that many times.
And you could buy a gumball.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I forgot about this voice.
Yes.
This voice is coming back with something real soon.
So, yeah. We probably pick up with that, right? We'll stay in family mode here for a second and probably make a move or two before zooming in. But I think the idea that we had, Alyssa, correct me if I'm wrong, was basically he was going to come meet you guys and try to establish peaceful relations. And you were going to be like, to prove yourself, I have this other mission that I want to do. And you had your agent role move that you had marked. Mark when you go on a journey to an unknown land and describe its riches.
Yeah.
Right. You wanted to go out into the wasteland and do what again?
I thought in the last session.
Oh, there's the site of a genocidal massacre over here. You were wanted to see if any of the other animal spirit clans were still alive, I think.
We're still there. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. And we can figure out the details as we go here, but okay, so I think probably what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and make a roll for the guild. The Guild of Last-Days Profiteers, because what's happening here is they're trying to set up a meeting with your faction.
Mm-hmm.
So they can roll, I believe it's reach. As a reminder, any of the moves for this game are found at the bottom in handouts.
Right.
So family moves, conduct diplomacy is what they're doing. When you call on your family's allies, say what you want from them and roll plus reach. A meeting with one of their VIPs, access to a tightly guarded location or item, information on an opportunity or threat. So Arturin Ravenscroft, the envoy for the Guild of Last-Days Profiteers, wants a meeting with one of their VIPs. So let's do it. Chat is saying, I'm reading Dune right now. This reminds me of that. Yes, there are definitely some Dune vibes happening here. They aren't worms. There are mole aliens. They're terraforming the planet.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the Dune from the original Mario Bros. Or Donkey Kong. Dune, 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 Dune.
I don't think anyone was mixing those things up except for maybe you. All right, here.
I just wanted to clarify, make sure nobody was confused.
Yeah, very important.
Thanks, Jordan. I was really confused.
Go consider it.
I don't know why I unmuted my mic to give a thumbs
Okay, so here is their roll. They do not have advantage or modifiers. Hey, double sixes.
Wow.
That's impressive.
So this goes off really well then.
Yeah. On a hit, you get what you wanted and 1 data. And yeah, 7 and 9, like bad things happen. So yeah, and 10 plus, that's what happens. You get what you wanted and 1 data. All right. Let me add that data to the guild. Okay, so this is basically Arturin attempting to get a meeting with, I guess, your character. Your character is an agent.
I'm not really a leader.
So it's not like you're a leader per se, but maybe it's just that, like, I don't think the Guild of Last-Days Profiteers has a lot of interaction with you guys, at least enough to know your guys' names or leadership structure. So Arturin probably comes here only knowing your name and is just like, I need to speak with Cinnamon, right? Like I have something I want to make sure we smooth over. Cinnamon's the only person I know. Can I speak to Cinnamon? Does that make sense to you?
I guess. For some reason that just makes me like, like people who are like, when you meet somebody of a certain race and their grandma's like, oh, do you know so-and-so? Because it's the only person of that race that they know.
To be fair, there's probably only like 100 of you alive.
I mean,
all
that's
in the same
fair.
place, so.
Just, I don't know, this is funny to me. But no, Cinnamon is fine. You could do that. I mean, we can always have one of like Jordan or Seth make a quick character that is probably more
one of the leaders,
if we want to. But
yeah, okay, but
Cinnamon can still be there,
right?
Exactly.
So yeah, I think the meeting that he wants, like the meeting that the family move acquired, was a meeting with you. So,
okay,
we can go from there,
that's
obviously,
fine.
but
Whatever
that
you
seems
think,
like will be the case. Yeah. Okay, so when you focus on critical scenes where a handful of people might change the course of history over hours or days, say where you are on the map. So I assume this is in the forested area over here, the Sacred Glen covered in tribal art. Maybe not like in the Sacred Glen, but like around the Sacred Glen, wherever your actual settlement is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the main character is present, say what they're there to do. So obviously we already know what Arturin and Cinnamon are there to do. Is either Darren or Mickey here for some random reason?
Sorry. Darren would not be here. He's the tribe leader of his own area, so this really doesn't concern him.
Yeah, makes sense.
Jordan is graveyard. I'm concerned.
I'll make a graveyard folder here for all the
different
characters.
Nothing worth sharing.
I think Miley and Ian are both
there.
You
go. So if there's only those 2 main characters here, the GM describes details of the environment or asks the players questions about it. Other players may create or pick up quick characters to fill out the party, and then the characters select gear according to their family's assets in the established fiction. So I think we already talked about details, right? You guys he's going to be coming probably, well, actually, does he have, what do Guild of Last-Days Profiteers get? They do get bodyguards. Okay, so he'll be showing up with some bodyguards, but it's probably just Arturin and bodyguards showing up to the Fox clan, whatever the edge of the forest that you guys own is.
If there's going to be like a elder character in this, I'd probably say no to me playing that because my primary character is already
Is
an elder
already, yeah.
So I'm gonna be doing that like already.
Makes sense.
So
But
Jordan
does
wants to
it
do
make sense
that-
for Seth and Jordan to pick up quick characters? You can play either someone from the Clan of Mysteries or from the Last-Days Profiteers, right?
Who would be there, Alyssa? Who else would reasonably be there?
Well, I mean, you got a like critical success, so I would assume it would be like somebody like other than just like a random scout on our
Yeah,
party.
you're
I
not
would
just
assume
gonna
it'd
like
be
keep
somebody-
him. Yeah, keep him on the outskirts and like interrogate him or anything. Like this is an actual meeting.
Yeah,
that's happening.
probably also have like the heavy,
Right.
maybe
maybe not like the main
spy,
leader, but
double man.
maybe one of maybe the guy underneath him.
An important hunter or important spiritual
Yeah.
guide or someone along those lines, maybe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, up to you guys. Who would you like to play, quick character wise?
I'll play a bodyguard,
Okay, yeah. So one of the Last-Days
That's-
Profiteers.
even though that's pretty much what I essentially played last time.
I mean, you were a hunter.
Well, no,
last
I wasn't a
time.
bodyguard last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different enough. We'll do a quick character number 2.
Yep. So quick character number 2, you can claim that one, Seth, and then Jordan, you can do quick character number 3. And
Okay.
we can fill those out. Shouldn't be too long. So you write down whatever family you're a part of. Decide their stats, their look, their role, and then we can assign gear as relevant. So it sounds like Seth's going to play a bodyguard in the Last-Days Profiteers group that's coming here. Jordan, I assume you're going to play a fox. You don't have to, but...
Sure. Yeah. Yep, I can.
Cool. Makes sense that, like, because Cinnamon isn't a leader, so it makes sense that you would play someone who is a leader type figure. So we have someone to make those decisions and stuff.
Where's the family boost?
Yes.
Family
So the Guild of Last-Days Profiteers get +1 to sway or lore. And then you could pick an inheritance move from the list. You should be able to look at the sheet.
Yeah, I'm just sway or lore. I'll go with.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that your contact would be Cinnamon, but you probably want to talk with not just Cinnamon.
And that's something that Arturin will probably figure out pretty quickly. Like when he asks, hey, can we have peace between our two factions? You're like, I don't get to decide that. He's like, okay, cool. Can you take me to someone who can decide that?
Take me to your leader. You said the stats were where?
So you get to choose one of the stat loadouts that's listed there, but then you also get an additional stat bonus from your faction. So the Clan of Ancient Mysteries gets to add 1 to steal or sway. And then you also get to choose, if you go to that Clan of the Ancient Mysteries faction sheet, at the very bottom, you'll see that a section called Inheritance, and you'll choose one of those moves as well to add to your character, besides the role you pick. So I assume the field you're an expert in, Seth, is bodyguarding, or something along those lines.
Wait.
You chose agent. I assume the narrow field you're an expert in is something having to do with guarding or fighting or something.
Oh, yes. Sorry, do I put that somewhere?
I mean, probably. Yeah, so say narrow field you're an expert in. You can write it probably in notes, just so we know.
Airfield bodyguard.
Yeah.
I almost wrote down bodyguard, which is a bit different.
Prophet or leader?
Either of those sound fun.
You do fun stuff with either of those, yeah.
So
I misheard Caleb. I thought he said neither of those sound fun.
Neither. The prophet one says, when someone acts in a way contrary to your family's doctrine, ask the GM how it will bring them ill fortune. That's the move that you get.
I'm going to go with leader.
Yeah.
So probably a little more beneficial to Alyssa at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, especially if this is going to be a larger thing moving into whatever expedition Cinnamon wants to undertake, being able to train a group for a few days would be helpful, I think. All right, but yeah. So then Jordan, for stats, you added 1 to sway, but you also get to split +1, 0, 0, -1 between your stats. If you look at right below where the stats are listed, it says that.
Yeah, I see it. I was just.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure you actually knew.
Yeah.
All good. Yeah, once you guys are set, or if you have any questions, just let me know and we can.
I think I'm ready.
But yeah, and then Jordan, make sure to pick one of those inheritance moves as well from the Clan of Ancient Mysteries list. Well, yeah, Seth, do you want to introduce us to what's his face? Everil?
Give me a second. I'm running in the looks. I forgot that part. So have we established like what kind of race these people are, or what they look like in general? I forget.
So yeah, the Last-Days Profiteers. Yeah, so I think the touchstones we've used so far is basically just like industrial era Europe. So probably not Southern Europe, but anything West or Northern Europe. So English, French, German, Polish, Nordic, anything along those is probably fine.
Okay, so he's a big guy, probably one of the few people who, like, I'm guessing since these are a lot of merchants, not a lot of people here are like, most people are scrawny. I'll just put it that way. But this is one of the guys who's actually like, who is trained to be to protect the people who are more important. So he's big, masculine guy, but he's kind of scowling. He's probably not that friendly of looking of a person. I wrote down for looks scowling and squinting, and I misspelled muscular. Yeah, he's a big guy, broad chest, probably long blonde hair. I'm thinking like, I'll just say it. He looks like probably like something like Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
I don't know. There's still something out there.
Yep, and you chose agent, so you're good at being a bodyguard.
He's probably, though, given what it is, it's probably like he has that look, but he's also like dressed well. So it's like a bodyguard, but also like, I don't know, a fancy looking bodyguard. I'll put it that way.
Yep. Yeah,
so he's very strong, but doesn't look like he gets dirty. He gets his hands dirty all the time.
For sure. Here, actually, I'll copy over the specific tags too for you.
Tags? Where did those go? Did I miss them?
Just for the thing, because you put the stuff in gear, but just so we remember what the tags are.
Right. I forgot about that.
So what's funny is, because you're a quick character, you're probably my bodyguard, but you also have bodyguards if you want to have them, right? So I have my own bodyguards that are protecting me. You're one of them, and then you have bodyguards protecting you if you want them.
Maybe
this reminds me of that scene from Aladdin. I even have servants that go to the marketplace for my servants. So it couldn't have possibly been me.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's the kind of thing where it's like I'm your bodyguard, but I have my own detail with me.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like the head of a group of bodyguards.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, together we have a lot of bodyguards to call upon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you also chose the inheritance move Deep Pockets. When you look into your satchel for a helpful item, find it, but choose one. It's fragile. It's got a side effect. It's precious to you. Very fun.
I couldn't find any that seemed to fit the character I was thinking of, but
that seems fun.
Yeah, this was just like, hey, I have something I can pull out at some point.
Got a thing. Jordan, who's your character? That is quite a name.
Yes, it's too long. Alphenim.
His name.
I assume it's some sort of joke that I'm not understanding.
Do you just want me to tell you the joke?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please.
It's too long of a name.
I got the too long part.
Yeah.
Too long off a name. Yeah, I love it.
Nice.
Pulling a little bit of a get here, but you said we're not going to take too long to make these characters, and I'm like, too long. I can make a name out of that.
And then yeah, so what is too long about? You chose leader, so.
Yeah, I just imagine like the wise, slightly senile and kooky village elder type.
Sure, yep. Yeah, so you chose leader. When you train a group for a few days, hold 3. When they do what you train them for, spend hold for 1 to add +1 to their roll results and take any consequences they suffer unto yourself. You also chose humane. When you ease another's suffering, say what they realize you have in common. You have advantage to find common ground with each other. Very sweet.
Yes. And I have 2 to sway, -1 to force, and 0 to both lore and steel.
Very good. Sounds like this meeting will go well, I think.
Wait, guys, I just thought of how to make any of my characters invincible. I just have to name them Avner, then Caleb won't let them die. And if they do die, I get to have the comfort of knowing that Avner died.
Fair enough. At least in some alternate universe.
Yes.
All right, cool. So, Alyssa, do you want to frame this scene for us? What does Arturin Ravenscroft find when he shows up on your proverbial doorstep? Oh, actually, wait, before we continue, we do need to tool up properly. Because you can also add like tags and things to these. So
I got this. Why can't we not be sober? I just want to start this over. It's a Tool song.
Your references just bounce right off me.
See, that's the best kind of references for me to make, in my opinion. Like I say it, and everybody's just like.
So Alyssa, I assume that Cinnamon has hit and run tactics. Like you chose that as an option.
Yes, I did.
That's how you fight. Yeah, I'm not sure how you wouldn't have access to that, but technically you could choose not to. I also assume you have your natural hide.
Yes.
Do you have scavengers with you?
Probably.
Okay, sounds good. So now everyone can choose. Where is this? For each of your surpluses, pick a relevant benefit. Add a tag to a piece of gear for this mission. Get as many copies of a weapon, outfit, or vehicle as needed to outfit the whole party. Add 1 to the quality for a set of followers for this mission. Get scouts reports worth 1 data. I believe everybody has 2. 2 surpluses right now. Yeah, you guys have scouts and morale. So whatever ones make sense, whatever options from that list. This is in story moves. Tulip is on the bottom left. Whatever makes sense for your guys' factions. I guess Seth, the Guild of Last-Days Profiteers has prestige and artisans. So we can both choose to add tags or whatever for our characters.
Could I add 1 to the quality of the bodyguard?
Mm-hmm. Certainly can.
We obviously
I'll probably do the same thing. Yeah. For prestige.
Oh, you already added it?
No. I'm just saying I'll do the same thing for Arturin since he has.
No, what I'm asking is I'm already seeing quality 1 written in here. Did you just add that?
So I wrote. What are you looking at your character sheet?
I'm looking at my character sheet and I'm already seeing quality 1 in there. Should I change that to quality 2? Or
it should be quality 2.
Is that what you put there?
Yeah.
Okay. That's because I didn't write that down. So
I copied pasted from the faction sheet, like the specific tags that it gives you. So we also have beast drawn caravans.
Mm-hmm.
What beasts draw our caravans, Seth? What do you think?
Foxes.
It just says beasts.
Not like, the
obviously,
moles.
Yeah, not the moles. It's there's a forest. I'm thinking maybe like giant badgers or something cool like that. Just like they're not actually badgers, but they kind of look like. Yeah, but like we're kind of going on the theme of like woodland creatures and stuff here. What if it's like it's like a mix between a badger and a sloth. It's like a big.
I was thinking badger and a bear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something like that.
Where
it has like gray fur. It's big and hulking, 4 legs.
Like a werebadger.
Yeah, something along those lines. I like it.
Honey bear mixed with the badger would be a honey bear.
Indeed.
So honey bear.
I'll add quality 2 to the bodyguards as well, and then I'll probably add a tag to my masterwork heirloom weapon for artisans.
Wait, do we get to? We get to add 2 tags.
Yeah, so for each surplus, you get to do 1 thing on there. Yeah.
Now, does this go? This goes on our This goes on like our faction sheet.
No, this will be your particular character sheet.
Your character, okay.
Right. So you have,
like, for example, scouts and morale. So I was thinking.
Yeah. So as long as they make narrative sense for why.
+1 to data, and then.
Yeah, for scouts.
Yeah, for scouts. Now, because I don't have a plus, do I just put +1 data under my gear? Is that where I put that?
No, you would just add it to that. You would add to your faction.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because I was like, I don't see data.
Most of the options would be on your character sheet, but yeah, that one goes on your faction.
Since we get to add 2, I'm going to add quality to the bodyguards and quality to the weapons.
Yep.
And then I'm also going to add +1 quality to.
Well, by quality to the weapon, Seth, what do you mean? Because I don't think you can just add quality to the weapons. Doesn't it say
I can't?
add a tag?
Oh, so could I add the tag quality to them then?
I don't think that is one of the tags. Like for like a weapon, it's like far, area, aberrant, brutal. The tags are in gear.
Huh?
Yeah, there you go. Big sword. Yeah.
Brutal sounds like a fun tag.
I'm trying to decide.
So, like, for example, Caleb, I wanted to add a +1 quality to. I could add it to my scavengers, for example. Yep. So
exactly, they're automatically quality 1, but.
So I would say quality 2, and then I would add a tag. Is that what it is?
No, so for that one, you're just adding a quality. For a gear, you'd add a tag.
Tag. Okay, got it. Okay.
So the idea here is like
quality 2. Okay.
They just have the one thing they're good at, which is finding food in shinies, but they're now good at it +2 amount.
Got it.
Instead of +1. Yeah.
Got it. I understand.
Yeah, so Arturin added hidden to his master heirloom weapon. I think he has like a cane, and it's actually a cane sword. Yeah, Jordan, what did you want to add?
I want to add, get as many copies as a weapon, outfit, or vehicle as needed to outfit the whole party, and I want to do the mech suits. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But that would be really funny.
That'd be ridiculous.
Well, Well,
it would be one you already have access to. Is the idea?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, is it possible for me to additionally add to the quality?
Because well, actually, yes, you can have quality 2 scavengers yourself. Because you're getting all the options that she is. I'll actually copy this over to yours. So I'll just copy it as it's written there, and then I will make it quality 2, right? So you also have scavengers with you, and they have quality 2 as well. And then do you want to just do data? Just the same thing Alyssa did?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Add another data to your faction, Alyssa.
Data.
Excellent. Thanks,
There you go.
Jordan.
No problem. I could have also just done 2 data, potentially. Is that a thing?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, as long as it makes sense for the surplus is the idea, right? Like, for example, if it was like surplus medicine, yeah, exactly. If it was surplus medicine, you couldn't get more weapons or whatever, right?
Tell that to Medic from TF2.
Yeah, cool. There you go. So everybody has their stuff. Let's go back to that then. Alyssa, if you would frame the scene for us, what does Arturin see as he reaches your proverbial doorstep?
So Arturin probably like reaches the proverbial doorstep and then like pauses for a moment, and then that's when like Cinnamon like comes out of like a corner of like a tree. It's just Cinnamon at first. And
yeah, there's probably a moment where like all of the like our whole caravan, right, just like pauses, and like someone probably maybe to the side says like, I didn't think they were real, right? Like,
yeah, like Cinnamon like peeks out and like scampers kind of still kind of far away from Arturin, but gets a little bit closer and just not like an accusatory way. I'd like to think it's like the way that Cinnamon speaks is very kind of light and airy, and that Cinnamon just goes, "What do you want, Arturin?"
And I think you described this last time as like telepathy. Is that still the case? So like they open their mouths but they don't move them, and then suddenly like there's just telepathy.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, everyone's, I assume, like shaken. Arturin pauses at least for a moment. What is Everil? How does Everil react to this fox spirit coming out? Like, it's possible you have never seen one of these before. It's kind of up to you.
He probably has like an air of just like he probably lets off an air of like just tough guy, but he's like, just what the heck is going on still?
Yeah,
he's like scowling and like I don't like this. Not because I'm scared. I just don't like this.
Yeah. So I think Arturin like raises up a hand and just says, I've come to seek peace between our factions. I know that things have been tense between us, but I have come here to apologize and seek reconciliation. And yeah, Arturin is he's not like scrawny. He's masculine. He has a handsome face, arresting eyes, and a muscular body. But it's more like the toned muscles of a duelist or something, right? So he's not massive like Conan over here. He's more like an athlete. But he is wearing like fancy clothing and stuff too. But yeah.
How many people are there? Like this
a lot
in this caravan? That's why I'm like, Cinnamon kind of like looks and she's like, you sure brought a lot of people for just wanting to talk.
They are not for you. There are other dangers in this world.
Also, they really all wanted to know what the fox says.
Yeah, honestly, I think Arturin says that. He's like, some of them were curious and insisted upon going with me, but we can leave them all behind if we need to. Whatever would make this meeting more comfortable for you.
Everil will probably lean forward. Everil will probably lead forward to turn to Arturin and say, I'm not leaving you behind with these people.
Yeah, he nods. He's like, I wasn't referring to you.
Cinnamon kind of like, pauses for a moment, and then she like turns her head and she just goes, too long? What do you think? And like, turns towards like one of the trees and like gestures like the head for like him to like come out.
I forgot that was Jordan's name.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to not be given serious roles in anything ever. It's just
But I think you guys don't hear this though. I think she like telepathically, like you can see that like she opens her mouth towards the tree, but like
I don't know if you have that capability. That sounds like a role.
Okay.
Right? Like if you actually wanted to accomplish something like that.
And not particularly. I just thought it was a fun flavor thing, but
it would be a fun flavor thing, except it also sets a precedent that you can talk without making any sound, which isn't necessarily true according to the strict definition of the rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, could she whisper telepath?
No, it's
Again,
fine.
There would have to be a roll is basically all I'm saying. If you actually want to.
Well, did I have to make
so
a roll
I asked too long, like, what do you think? Or is too long even here yet? Is too long like more like
I feel like too long is probably, I think that's a fair
it sounded like you guys were like on a scavenging mission or something, right? And if you took like 2 quality scavengers each, that's probably what you're doing, right?
Yeah. So I think I think too long says sorry, I just have memes in my head just going like constantly. It's bad. It's real bad.
Normal for me.
Brain function. Probably something to the effect of, I think it's only fair they scavenge for knowledge. It's a wise endeavor. They cannot be blamed for their curiosity, only how they manage it.
And then Cinnamon just kind of, goes like something along like to the effect of like so like that, and then like you just see all these other foxes come out of the trees.
Yeah.
And Cinnamon just goes, we will hear you. Shall we?
Yeah.
And then she like turns her head.
Okay. Yeah. I think Archerin asks, do you wish all of us to come?
If they mean us no harm and you truly mean that, they're welcome to come and see.
Yeah, so as a reminder, like you guys have a bunch of scavengers with you. All of the people who are with us are, except for me, are bodyguards. Right. They're literally a bunch of soldiers. So this is like a small army that's being led into your base. It's up to you.
Well, okay, like so how many people are we talking here? Like, are we talking like 100 people?
I don't think so. Let's take a look at what the game tells us.
Yeah, like I guess it would really depend on like if it's like 20, I think Cinnamon would be like, sure, they can all come and like see. If it's more than that, she's gonna be like, leave some of them behind. That's too many people.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't say specifically in this handout, at least, how many. Let's see if it says anything in the book. If I can quickly find the section 62. I think it might give a rough estimate. It says small band.
Would be like 40?
Maybe an absolute maximum. Yeah, maybe at absolute maximum, but I don't think that. I'm thinking maybe more like 5 to 10 for each instance of the followers. So let's say like maybe 15 guys.
I think that's fine.
Jordan, okay. I didn't hear what you said, but I'm pretty sure I know what you said.
I mean, if our leader is like, oh, it's only natural that they'd come, I think that makes Cinnamon like, okay, all right, that's your call, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just wanted to make sure, because
She
you
doesn't
hadn't
necessarily
actually, like,
think that you guys are gonna like destroy our area.
Mm-hmm.
At least she'd hope. But...
Yeah, because you brought it up, he just wanted to make sure that like that was on the table. Like you had a definite yes, it's okay. So he's not, trespassing or whatever. Cool. Yeah. So I think they follow you. All the bodyguards are looking around like what? But I think they did bring their like caravans of badger sloth things, right? And they'd probably be carrying something. I think I might want to make a roll here. Well, at least I think Arturin might have brought like gifts or something to offer as a peace offering.
If you're making a roll with Cinnamon, does that mean this is a Cinnamon roll?
Sure.
Boo. Sorry, I just thought of it.
But I that'll probably be a thing that happens when we actually get to the actual diplomacy roll or whatever it is. In character. Okay, yeah, so where do you exactly take us? I assume you don't take us straight to the Sacred Glen, but it's like whatever settlement you guys have?
Yeah, probably one of our, like, I'm assuming we probably have, like, maybe some caves carved out, like, in some of these areas, or, like, like a really hollow tree that, we, like, go underground in, or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we just go to, like, a grove or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like some sort of meeting grove. Okay, so is this a sort of thing?
It's just one of those stereotypical pitfall traps with like the leaves over it, and
in the middle of the grove, and then we all just fall in. Yeah,
yeah, like Team Rocket's, holes that they try to dig to capture Pikachu.
They're like all over the place.
I love that was your touchdown, Alyssa. For
I've been watching Pokemon lately. Okay, that's what I got.
Fair enough. So the thing is, like, so Jordan Toolong is like the leader person who is here currently. I feel like he'd be the person, like, this is just like, okay, let's move to a separate place so we can talk. And Toolong will be the person who's like, actually, we needed to be convinced. Obviously, Cinnamon can have her own opinions and add stipulations of her own, but that's what it sounds like to me. Is that correct? Is Toolong will be the person, the representative of the clan in this instance?
Probably not.
I mean, like Cinnamon is, I mean, if she's the one that, led a ambush against your family, right? Like, that's gonna be like, I still haven't forgiven you for probably getting some of my kind killed.
I also suspect Cinnamon is stealing my secrets for their family. I don't really know what that means, but that's part of this apparently. Okay, yeah. So I think as everybody is getting settled in the grove, right? Arturin, how are you guys presenting yourselves? Like, is this sort of the thing where you like we're gonna sit lotus style opposite of each other and connect minds, or like how does a meeting like this typically go for your people? Because I think he'll just try to follow whatever you're doing.
I think it's probably something along the lines of like, how do foxes commune with each other? I've never thought I'd have to look that up before.
It's like probably going to be.
Before we figure out that, we have to figure out what's going on. I'm doing that joke too much.
Growls, yelps, and short yapping barks. It also makes sense. They have scents.
Yeah, it also makes scent stations by urinating on various spots.
So you guys just go pee over by a tree, and I'm
to
just
claim
like,
our territory.
Is that what we're doing?
No. No, I'm thinking something along the lines of like, we're like, I don't know if like
them to assert dominance.
Probably something along the lines of like we're almost like a bonfire, but it's not a fire because it's like the middle of the day. But like we're like around like some kind of like like almost like a campground kind of a thing, and like we're it's very casual kind of a thing.
big pit in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So Arturin sits, and then I think he says, I've come bearing peace offerings, gifts, and also messages of goodwill. I know that the guild has not been the best neighbor over the years, and I have come to rectify that with a formal treaty, if we can make it happen. There will, of course, be stipulations on either side to ensure the proper borders and the proper neighborly attitudes are maintained. But I would please ask what you would require first for such an alliance. He realizes that's too strong a word. Such a agreement to be arrived at.
Jordan, what are you saying?
You're muted.
Oh, what I said was not important. I was just making a Tenacious D reference.
Okay.
Shoot, I didn't think you'd be talking about it.
I know. Well, I think
thought...
that, I mean, Cinnamon will, I mean, she's still gonna, pipe in and say some things. I think Cinnamon, actually, did I say Cinnamon was a girl or a guy? I honestly can't remember.
A girl.
Okay. I wasn't sure. She'll say something like, the most important thing that we ask, that we require for treaties is trust. And currently that's very low between our clans.
I understand.
We'll take a blood sacrifice. No.
Arturin looks to his bodyguards. All right.
All right. Someone sacrifice themselves.
Like, all right, you know what to do, man. Everybody just.
Yeah. I think he says, I understand. May I ask specifically how we have broken your trust?
Looks at all the guards here.
She looks around the land and she says, as you know, there are not very many of us left. There are many of us here that hold your clan specifically responsible for abandoning us.
I see. How can we make this right?
Cinnamon will kind of look at Tulong and say, well, we have been hoping to do a mission recently to find others amongst the possible ruins.
I see. You wish to replenish your numbers.
Yes. If you were to help us in that endeavor, regardless if it's successful or not, we would consider trust established on a firm foundation.
I suppose you probably should have made a roll.
I think though that you could still make one though to we can still negotiate.
Let me look at what the actual
people
roll
you're
says
gonna
here.
send.
When you ask someone to work with you, roll plus sway. On a hit, they'll do it. You know what? Let's have you make the roll, right? You gave him the term. You said, this is what we require for this to happen. And now you're making the roll here to basically be like, this is what I'm asking.
I have a -1 to sway. You're the one who wants to rebuild trust.
That's fine. He can make the roll then. That's totally fine.
I'm the one giving you the stipulation.
I just don't necessarily want to. I don't need to be a player. Is basically.
No, I understand.
This is meant to be the faction kind of introducing something to you as a player. But yeah, that makes sense. I'll just go ahead and make the roll. We can see what criteria might be arrived at here, because I think the conversation probably continues on. He's probably like, okay, sounds good. Let's get it all out there, right? Let's talk about all the things that we've done wrong, and then at the end we'll talk about some things that we want you to do like, because they'll also be like, you've been attacking us and you've been stealing stuff from us or whatever, you know.
No, we haven't.
Secrets, yeah. But I think all of that will kind of depend on how this roll goes. So,
Okay.
Okay, so he has a +2. I'll go ahead and spend the data that I have, one of which at least, to have advantage, because why not? There we go.
Nice.
Okay, so find common ground. On a hit, they'll do it if you meet their terms. And on a 10+, you get to pick one term. So they'll only do it if, so this is you get to pick one of these. It's on character moves. Find common ground. A third party vouches for you. They can change the specific parts of the task. They can back out as soon as it costs them. You reduce the threat you pose to them. You give them something now that's worth it. You reveal your full agenda here, or their faction/family gets one treaty on you. I mean, based on what you just said, it's possible we could just choose, you give them something now that's worth it, and that's you having just said, this is what we need. We need more people. Like, you are responsible for the diminishing of our numbers. Help us get more numbers, and that's what we require. And we can just be like, okay, sounds good, because that's pretty much exactly in line with the role here. Basically, the idea would be there aren't any other conditions because he got so high of a roll. That's the only thing that you really need to be on friendly terms.
Well, and again, she even said, like, if there's nothing out there, there's nothing out there. Like, that's not your fault. But like, we wanted to go do this mission, and if you help us with it, then we can assume trust is at least laid down. Maybe not like fully there, but like it's like, okay, but we got a firm foundation.
Perfect. So I think what they're asking you to do basically with that role is, okay, if we do this, then you'll like stop attacking us and be at peace with us.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, in theory, Arturin has to make sure his family doesn't go back to their old ways, right? There'll probably maybe be some role there or something. But right now, at least he has enough authority in the faction to be able to make this trip in the first place. So apparently you guys are doing enough damage to them that they're just like, yeah, fine. Just make peace with them. We just don't want this anymore. Okay, cool. So I think Arturin just like nods and says, very well. We will leave as soon as you want. You have all of my men at your disposal. Whatever this mission looks like, we will undertake it. And it's just send him and be like, okay, sounds good. Let's leave now.
Let's go. Y'all here? Why not?
Yeah.
He's like, it's funny you should say that. We were just getting ready to leave.
Where do you think we were going?
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. I think we probably just like cut from there. We're still zoomed in and we just like head out into the wasteland, right?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds good to me. All right. This is you, Alyssa. This is Cinnamon making a roll to go out into the wasteland. Let's see. You have a move called when you lead an expedition through hostile grounds, pick 2, but that's technically not exactly what's happening. Hostile grounds is a specific area that like has disadvantage associated with it. So not just the wasteland, but like a particular part of the wasteland that's radioactive or something like that. So that might come up if we get there. So I think the first thing you're doing is just doing one of the like common like character moves.
Okay.
Which is what is it?
So
wasteland survival. Yeah. When you navigate through the wasteland outside of settled lands, roll plus steal.
Okay.
This is like, how does our trip go?
Is us going with her give her any advantage?
That's fair. I mean, one of us could always roll to help her if it fails. I don't think, because the way that followers work is like you can add bonuses for them. I believe. Let me double check. I know they can roll by themselves if they need to. When your character is directly assisted by their followers, they increase the action's breadth or scope. Friendly scholars can help you research more quickly and comprehensively, but won't help you come to the right conclusions. Okay, so they're not going to.
But we're not her followers, so.
I'm thinking of like the scavengers and the bodyguards that we have.
Yeah.
So they're going to help you if you need to. So if you were to make a roll for scavenging, they would help you be able to gather more with whatever you rolled, but they're not actually giving you a bonus when they're rolling. If they have to roll by themselves, that's when their quality comes up, and then they roll plus their quality.
So I just need to roll plus.
For now, I don't think there's any bonus happening here. You can spend data to get advantage if you'd like to. If you fail or get a lower result than you want to, one of us can roll to help you.
I feel like I could use a data to get advantage. I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Data's pretty free, so
roll type, advantage.
Yep.
Modifiers, none.
I believe so. There you go. 10.
Excellent.
Yeah, so make sure you take that data off. I need to do.
I already did it.
Okay, perfect. I need to take mine off that you spent. You put a data on mine too, right, Seth? Or no?
I did not put a data on yours.
Yeah. It was someone else. I put it on there for something else. Okay, cool. Sounds good. All right, and a 10 plus for Wasteland Survival. Well, on a hit, pick one. The GM will give you further details. So something bad happens no matter what, but then because you got a 10 plus, something good also happens, is how this works.
Okay.
So choose one of these 3 bad options. You lose something along the way. A member of your group is hurt or sick, or an obstacle or threat is blocking your way back. Lose something along the way could be like lose followers, lose gear.
Right.
I mean, you could choose our caravans if you wanted to, right?
Yeah. The second one is one of our members is sick or hurt.
Yeah, a member of your group is hurt or sick.
I wonder how they would have gotten hurt or I guess just sick makes sense, but
I mean, the mole aliens are out here, so.
The Molians?
The mold warps, sorry, I forgot we had a name for them.
Great.
Yeah, but our whole thing is that we're trying to avoid them.
Yep.
I don't know. Which one seems most interesting?
I'm thinking maybe an obstacle or threat is blocking your way back, right? So it's like we dodged the mole aliens, but maybe there is one that's like on our route back now. And like we dodged it the first time, but now it knows we're going to come back to that region or something like that.
Wait, where are we traveling exactly? I thought we were just traveling like inland.
So we started right here, right? Next to the Sacred Glen. We're traveling here, the site of a genocidal massacre.
Oh, I thought the genocidal massacre was inside.
Nope, no. It is in the wasteland.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense.
Right, so nothing bad happens yet, but like on the way back, we'll have
on the way back. Yeah.
All right, cool. And then on a 10 plus, you also pick one of the following good things. You discover a hidden treasure in the wasteland, worth a lot if you can secure it. You discover a secret path that you can use to take this route without triggering this move. So basically, if you chose that one, you could always come back to this spot without having to do this in the future. Or you discover a secret, details on a threat, signs of other peoples, the origin of the fall, etc.
Well, the third one is exactly what I want.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, I think that makes sense, right? The secrets of another people.
Yeah. So it's basically you discover a secret and signs of other people's makes sense. Cool. So I think what happens is, maybe as we zoom back in, we're talking about like, and I guess it doesn't technically have to be a mold warp that's like blocking our way back. That just seems like the obvious thing. It could be something else if you guys had an idea. We could also just decide it later. For whatever reason, there's something blocking our way back. We'll deal with it when we get there. But we probably arrive at the site of the genocidal massacre. And this is like the place where the last clan, like allied clan of yours that you knew about died. Which animal spirit were they?
The ones on the genocide?
Yeah. The ones that died here. That maybe you're hoping have a few survivor members.
That's a great
You guys
question.
are foxes.
What is the natural predator of the fox? Or what is the fox the natural predator
The
of?
hound.
Yes.
I see you Googling something. Random generator.
I'm trying to look at what animals do foxes have friends? That's the question.
Oh, right. Do foxes have friends?
That sounds like something a toddler would Google.
The things that we Google when we're playing role-playing games. And then watch this movie, Charlie, Fox and the Hound. They do not have friends. When they do, bad things happen.
Okay, so you know what's interesting? Didn't we say that eagles are a problem around here?
Yes. So right here where the cows are, carrion birds smart enough to herd and harvest livestock. So I think these are vulture spirits, like the same sort of thing that you are, but they're like bad news.
Okay, well, it says in here that island foxes get along with bald eagles.
Okay, yeah. So I think maybe the vultures are something different.
Right.
But yeah, that could be eagles. That's fun.
Maybe that's what we run into. We run into, well, actually, wait, that's where the cows, wait.
Hi guys, I googled how do I make a fox my friend, and the top thing is a WikiHow that says put food out regularly. How to tame a fox, 12 steps.
I love the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the thing we run into is one of the carrion birds, though.
I have an idea that's based on what's actually around here, secretly on the map. There are secret things on the map that you guys can't see. I already had an idea for this. I think, basically what you find is you know that the carrion birds up there exist. Nobody likes them. Nobody goes near that. Like they're bad news. And so you're looking around for signs of these eagle spirits, apparently that used to be here. I'm thinking Aarakocra or whatever, right? From D&D, that sort of vibe, right? Kind of humanoid eagle things. But you find zero sign of them, right? What do you think this genocide site looks like exactly? Like, if it used to be an eagle roost or something,
right? Probably like lots of like empty nests, kind of a thing.
Like so sort of mountainous or something,
a bunch of in a bunch of like dead trees or things like that, and probably lots of like tiny bones like scattered across. Some of these regions. And
so I think
maybe even some broken eggshells.
So you see signs not of eagles, right? Like the sort of thing you're looking for. You actually see signs, and only you would be able to pick up something like this, Cinnamon being the natural explorer and scavenger that she is. You see signs of a different animal besides the mold warps digging in the ground, right? So for you, it seems like actual moles or badgers or something. And you know that those sorts of things used to exist. There used to be like good moles or badger spirits, right? They were probably one of the first things to die out when the mold warps came. But you see signs, much smaller tunnels, right? Much, around human size, like you guys would be, right? And it's leading to, let's see, which direction would this be? You see tunnels leading both to the west and the east, both leading sort of south of the genocidal massacre site, though. So that's the sign of other peoples that you find. Is like, okay, the eagles are gone. Like we've confirmed that now. Like there's no survivors here. These are long dead nests. But there's some other creature that makes tunnels that's not the mold warps that's around here somewhere. So you can investigate that if you'd like.
Yeah. So how big are these holes? Like, so they're not obviously like very
human size, right? So they're not mold warp size. They're more they're what you would expect if you were thinking of like, yes, badger spirit humanoids like we used to have in this world, sort of thing.
So enough for a fox to go through, but not necessarily like grown humans, or
well, it did actually. I suppose it depends. How big are your fox spirits? I was imagining they're just like people sized, but that might not be true.
I think they're a little smaller than human size, not quite like small foxes, but like maybe
So not
quite
halfling size, but like not like 6 foot tall humans.
Right.
Okay. I would think it would be about around that size too. So like maybe a person who's 5 foot to 5'6" could go in these just fine.
Right. I imagine Too Long being like normal fox height.
Right, he's like every anime's the old people in anime are just like the most short they could possibly be.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so we could probably go in there, but we would have to be crouching the whole time. Conan Barbarian here might have
I'm not fitting in there.
Yeah.
I'm not fitting in there.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I just say like, we're gonna go down and investigate. I think maybe some people should stay behind and keep watch.
What do you want us to keep watch for? Just mold warps?
Anything that might be out here.
So mold warps?
Again, anything that might be out here.
I think at this point he leans forward. I think she does mean mold warps.
Well, there's also those vultures up there, I suppose.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so I guess this might just be the foxes going down.
That makes sense. You have a bunch of scavengers. Is this all the foxes going down?
I wonder if maybe I'd keep like 1 or 2 of them behind.
Sure. Yeah. But for all intents and purposes, you guys are both bringing your followers with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you going to go? So what's the extent of this investigation? Is this let's investigate this area alone and just like learn more about the tunnels that are directly around us? Or is this we're going to go either east or west and find where it leads?
I mean, our goal in coming here was to get allies, so I feel like we'd probably follow it to its deepest extent, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so which direction you want to go, east or west? These are different things will be there if depending on which direction you choose.
Even though they're the same tunnels?
Same tunnels, but there's 2 different like locations hidden on the map that they lead to. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go east.
East? Okay. Sounds good. Go ahead and make another roll here. I'm thinking forge a path. Let me look.
As they're like going to the tunnels, Too Long just says, "Oh man, I had the line," and then it was. I'm so disappointed in my brain right now, just not being able to. Like, I had to type out what I was gonna say later.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, but Too Long just says something like "bonsai" as he jumps in.
I think this is forge a path, Alyssa. You're rolling when you find your way across precarious or dangerous terrain. Roll +4s. What's your intent here? What's your actual goal?
I mean, my goal is to find whatever made these tunnels and not necessarily be seen. It depends on if they're friendly or not, I suppose.
Okay, yeah, I think let's use forge a path. I think if your goal is more to like get to the location and find what's there will be terrain you'll have to cross that's dangerous. These tunnels aren't made for people like you. Creatures that have better understanding of this sort of thing have made these, and they're very confusing. So I think so. This is roll plus force.
Okay.
But Jordan, you can always help if she fails with your own force.
Oh
wow!
No.
And she certainly failed. That's a 3. Would you like to attempt to help, Jordan?
Well,
Do you have a -1 in force?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
foxes aren't very good at force.
Let me check if you can make this worse by helping.
Now it's looking more like last time we
The
played.
only thing that can happen in this case is you share in the consequences. So might as well try, right? You're probably going to share in the consequences no matter what.
Yep.
So go ahead and roll force as well. Unless actually, so it's after failing to roll as well as you'd like, say what another character nearby can do to boost your efforts. If the group agrees, the helper says how they do it and rolls an appropriate stat. If you can make an argument for a way you could help besides force, then that's fine. But
So
do you have an argument?
I make that argument, or
Yeah.
me, or okay, an argument for something besides force.
Yeah. I don't think sway makes sense, but honestly, either lore or steel is probably fine, right? Just like knowing how to explore and stuff.
Yeah, I think lore because
Sure. Yep. You're like the leader guide type.
I think too long is trying to explain the ways to this newer generation of peoples.
Yeah.
Just trying to get them to understand. Here's how here's how we historically have done things. Here's how we have been trained up to this point to explore and discover things. Here's how we survived.
Too long is giving a lecture on exploration and investigation and scavenging while he's helping along.
I'll show you the ways.
Cool. Go ahead and roll plus lore then.
Standard.
Yeah, unless you want to spend a data. There's technically 1.
Melissa, do you want me to spend a data or do you want me to not?
I do know what happens if you actually fail this. It's not very good.
Yeah, but we're also going to need to like get past the mold warps too, or whatever it is that's out there too. So I feel like maybe we should save it.
Works for me. So no modifiers?
Yep. All right. Just failure. All right, so forge a path. You failed to do it, which means at some point along the journey, right, you're going through all these tunnels, and to be honest, you probably would have run into these things eventually anyway, but the failure means you run into them without realizing you've run into them. So I'm going to reveal this on the map. We got a rapidly expanding alien ecosystem here. These smaller tunnels eventually lead into what is just mold warp tunnels. So you eventually walk out of the 5-foot tall tunnels, and then you're just in a giant like mold warp cavern. And for a moment you're like, oh darn, like that's not good. Well, at least we can just backtrack and go back so we can get out of the way of mold warps, right? And then you realize the ground you're standing on currently is moving up and down, and you're on top of a sleeping mold warp. Like the tunnel that you were coming out of just like stepped right on like what seemed to be just like rocky ledge to you, and is instead the body of a mold warp. And I think it's starting to stir right as you step onto it, and it's like multiple, like a whole host of like 15 scavenger fox spirits are like walking on top of this thing, and suddenly it starts to shift and move.
Do these things have a particular smell?
Probably, but you didn't catch it in time, right?
Probably smell like dirt.
No, I was just
Probably smell like dirt.
Yeah. And like a weird acidic metal or something.
I think just for comedic value, Too Long is like in the middle of this lecture, and he's like,
right.
And does anybody smell metal and dirt? Like gross dirt? And then it like starts to rumble.
Yep. Perfect.
So
what do you do?
Okay, yes. Cinnamon is like, this is not good. This is not
If you
good.
do
This is
nothing,
not good.
you will
This
not
is
only
good."
fall off a mold warp body, but also probably be attacked by the mold warp afterwards. So what do you do as it's like in the middle of standing up? So you do have a moment to like try to jump or whatever, but you're currently in present danger.
Okay. I don't know. I guess pass on trodden at this point wouldn't work. Wait, did you say that I rolled forge a path?
Yeah.
I should have been rolling plus steel then with my move.
Oh.
Also, when you evade your enemies in the wild, roll plus steel on forge a path.
Where's that? Where are you?
It's under my pass untrodden.
Your faction thing?
No, it's on cinnamon.
Where? I'm not seeing it.
Pass untrodden under my moves.
Oh, at the very end there. Yeah, okay. Okay. So you weren't currently evading your enemies in the wilds when you forged a path that time. You can do it again now and roll plus steel. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
All right. I think that makes sense. I think Cinnamon's just like, don't panic. We're gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
just,
So you that makes sense. You're rolling forge your path again. You're trying to just get out of the situation. This is dangerous terrain. You're trying to navigate. You can do it with steel.
Right.
Now that you're trying to evade your enemies.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Oh man.
All right. Partial success.
Well,
Jordan could try to help again if you'd like. But could also make it worse. With a 7 on
at this point.
Yeah. With a 7 on forge a path, you pick 2 of these bad things. You do make the trip, but you pick 2. You're exposed to danger as you travel. The route you took is lost. You can't take gear or other characters with you, or you take a lot longer than you expected. You have to choose 2 of those 4.
Okay. I think take a lot longer than I expected.
Yeah, you get lost in the tunnels as you run away.
I would say
isn't that
would make sense to pair it with the path, like the original path is closed off. Right?
The route you took is lost.
With it. Yeah.
Something like that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean the mold warp probably collapses some of the smaller tunnels behind you as it shifts around and stuff, right? So you know there's a tense chase scene. It takes a while and you're running blindly through a bunch of these tunnels and some of them are collapsing as you run, but eventually you do make it back. And have
now. Do I still get to pick? Even though I got a 7, do I still get to pick 2 of my paths untrodden?
So the thing with paths untrodden is it does say specifically when you lead an expedition through hostile grounds. Hostile grounds in the game is a place that gives you disadvantage because of a environmental factor. I don't think you've actually gone into one of those yet. If you had explored the mold warp layer, I think that would have counted as one, but you just kind of ran back into the tunnels. So
yeah.
Like if you had to lead an expedition into one of the more dangerous spots on the map, that's when that would come up, I think. Yeah, okay. So I think probably what happens, right, is it's like nightfall or whatever, right, by the time you guys get back. And we've just like been camping out here at the site of the genocidal massacre. I think we do see in the sky, just as like a foreshadowing shot, we see some of the vultures from the north starting to circle above us. They haven't decided to do anything yet, but some of them have pegged onto us and know that we're here. And we probably just see
probably a bit on edge.
Yeah, exactly. Arturin and Everil are like looking up at the vultures as you guys get back, right? We're like nervously looking at them. But yeah, so it's nighttime, so we could camp here or we could go onward. Either way, what do you say to us? How do you report back on what happened? You might be starting to doubt yourself here, right? Because it's possible maybe you're thinking, oh, the mold warps just killed them. Like if these tunnels lead into the mold warp layers, maybe they just got killed by the mold warps, and this is all hopeless. You're not sure yet, but
yeah.
Well, we only took one direction, right?
Yeah, you can
don't
still
have
go west.
M here to make the one direction
I was
joke.
thinking that, yeah.
Say One Direction.
So we technically could go looking the other way, right? We could go west.
Yep.
But
But also, the longer you stay out in the wasteland, the more dangerous it gets, is the idea.
And
Yeah.
they just potentially woke up mold warps.
Exactly.
How long of a travel was it out to this place again?
I'd say probably a couple days.
Oh, so we've already been camping out here.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't think this is like a super small area necessarily.
Yeah, in that case, it feels like, well, if we, like, I think Cinnamon would regret it if we didn't try to go the other way. You know, she's like, at this point, you know, like, maybe we need to, like, up our defenses a little bit, be a little bit more sneaky. But, like, if these other badgers or moles or whatever are still alive and I just, like, left here without them, like, without even trying to go down the other path, I think I'd regret it. Because
Yeah, our
they're
Turin
still
seems
out here.
willing to help with whatever you need.
I think Too Long says to Cinnamon, back in my day, we would have already gone down both tunnels. We would have sent one person down one tunnel and one down another.
We'd have gone down both tunnels uphill in the snow.
But yeah, exactly that kind of thing. But then he like kind of softens and says, now Cinnamon dear, someday you're going to be leading our people, just as I have been. And I, you know, not that this is the only leader. And he says, sorry, brain break. You're going to have to learn to trust your own intuition. So whatever you say is best, we'll do.
I think since we're already here, we might as well. I think I would regret it if we didn't try.
Too Long is already like diving into the cave. Monte!
I think our Turin says, now that we know there are mold warps around, I hesitate to let you go alone. I feel like I should come with.
Oh, in the world are we supposed to fit in there?
Well, I could fit in there better than you. I just have to crouch a little.
he probably like scoffs like, yeah, because you're scrawny and you can't do anything. But he doesn't say it.
I think Cinnamon kind of nods and just says, that's very noble of you, Arturin. Come. We have a moment
he nods
to lose.
and crouches down. Cool. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so I think he says, Everil, you know, look after everyone and make sure those vultures don't attack us.
He's kind of like, he's gonna kind of look up like, duh. What did you think?
I think I'll probably leave behind a couple more foxes this time, though. Make it a smaller party.
So maybe like one of you left your followers behind. So you'll have one instance of the quality 2 scavengers.
Yeah. Just in case something goes wrong. We don't want to down our numbers even more than we already have.
Yeah. All right, cool. So one more forge a path.
Would it be with the steel now that she knows there's enemies there? Or?
No, she's not evading enemies currently.
Yeah, so it's roll +4 sting.
Yeah.
All right. Man, we're just going to run straight into them again. I just know it. All right. Here we go. I guess it's good for me to roll this,
You wanna
though,
spend your
because then
data?
Jordan can help me with something. No,
Okay.
because I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't even need it.
Whoa!
Look at me.
Nice.
Barely made it.
I barely
Pretty
made it,
good.
but you know, I got it. I got it.
That's the right thing.
You got the touch.
All
This
right,
time
forge
it
a
goes
path.
much better.
On a hit, you make the trip. On a 10+, pick one. So you only have to pick one of the bad options here. You're
Okay.
exposed to danger as you travel. The route you took is lost. You can't take gear or other characters with you, or you take a lot longer than you expected.
I wonder if this is like just at a certain point, like I can't bring like the rest of my scouts.
Well, I
with
mean,
me,
we already
kind of a thing.
established you can't bring all your scouts with you. You left some of them behind. Would that be? But was that, since it's already established? Is that not?
Yeah, that's fine. I think we can say that like it's just. I mean, maybe even Arturin has to stay behind. Maybe the tunnels just get so small, and you're. Yeah, I mean, what if it's like, everything? It's so small that only Cinnamon, like, since she's like a slight female and probably on the lower end even of among all the scavengers, is the only one who can fit in this like last crevice that is going to lead to where you need to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah. So I think Cinnamon, you make your way through this like very tight crevice, and when you look out over what is beyond it, you see. Let me see if I can have some descriptions here. What does it say? You find that you're inside of a giant underground city. Right? You crawl through the crevice, and you see it probably looks to modern fantasy readers as like a dwarven city or something, right? Because it's like underground, everything's short and squat, and there's technology and stuff around that would be so lots of metals being used. But you see the denizens of this city, and it's an expansive city, but it's not like so expansive. It's not like, thousands of people live here or anything. It's like looks like one giant structure that has been inhabited by people more than like a consciously built city. But you see a bunch of hunched over badger looking people like scurrying about doing this or that. It's really dark, so it's hard to see. But you can tell enough that there are like figures that you assume to be like these, like maybe badger spirits or something similar, that are like walking around. You're kind of above, like at the top of this temple structure on like a ledge that's overlooking the thing. So you can get a good view of the city, even though there's not much light reaching here. Yeah, what do? You probably have to get closer to investigate further.
Let me see what. Okay. What did like? So it says I have a move that says when you find new people deep in the wasteland, you can roll plus lore on familiar face and find common ground, even if this is your first time here, in spite of any language barrier.
Nice, yeah. You could. I think a good move to roll right now would be, unearth forgotten lore. So roll plus lore, and then you get to ask some questions about what this thing is, right? What this temple and its people are. So you get advantage, you said?
No, it just allows no. So it allows me to You can roll plus lore on these 2 moves, on familiar face and common ground, even if it's your first time here and in spite of a language barrier.
I see.
So I don't know if
Okay.
these help me at all.
They don't help you yet, but I think the first thing we should probably do is unearth forgotten lore either way. What you said at least triggered me onto that, because this would be like, what do I actually know about this thing? Like, have I heard of this before?
Okay.
So yeah, plus lore.
Oh yeah.
Hey, nice.
I have.
Yeah, so on a 10 plus, you get 1 data, and you get to ask 3. So out of these 4 questions, is this a wonder or a horror? Where is it drawing power from? What dangers is it hiding? How can I turn it to my advantage?
Hey, how can I turn it to my advantage?
These certainly could be allies. That's the answer to that one,
where
right?
are these questions?
These
where
are
these
in
questions under
character moves.
Sorry, I need to read them off.
You're good. You're good. So peripheral.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, I see it.
Yes, 3 of the 4.
I feel like the first, like 1 and 3 are like kind of the same.
I'll tell you right now, they're not.
I don't know if Cinnamon cares where they're drawing their power from, to be honest.
Okay.
I think she would ask, is this a wonder or a horror, and what danger is it hiding?
So you get asked 3 of the 4. So that 4th one too. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. How can I? Well, I already asked. How can I turn it to my advantage?
Oh yeah, sure.
What dangers is it hiding, and is this a wonder or a horror?
Okay, so I'll probably go from bottom to top. So how can I turn to my advantage, right? You can make these people allies. You have an instinctual sense here. You turn it to your advantage means like talk to them and make them your allies, right? What dangers is it hiding?
Look, you just have to badger them about it.
And is it a wonder or a horror? It's a horror because when you do some observation of these things and eventually you realize, oh, these aren't badger spirits. These are people who have been horribly changed and mutilated by mold warp technology. So they look like badgers and they act like badgers, mainly because they have chosen the mold warps as their gods and have engrafted alien technology into themselves to make them hunched over and able to dig through tunnels. And so you could get them to be your allies. Like, there is a sense in which you're kindred spirits, in the sense that, like, they actually do indeed, like, act like the badger spirits of old. Maybe they even found some of their old cultural stuff. Like, there's stuff that you recognize here that, like, still reminds you of the old badger spirits you knew. But what these people have become is something very horrible. Now, again, with your how can I turn to my advantage, you can tell that they're not, it's not that they like, so maybe you even watch a whole thing where a mold warp starts, maybe there's like a big tunnel all like through the middle of this temple structure, and a mold warp eventually at one point comes through on its way to somewhere else, and you can tell that they quote unquote worship these things. And a lot of this is just Cinnamon's, but it's also a fear of them, right? They also are terrified of them. And so if you could show them the way, right? You this is your explorer, like, cultural sense tingling, like, of new people and new lands that you're exploring, right? You can tell that, like, they are as much oppressed by the mold warps and the alien technology as they are dependent upon it. So it will be a long task, but if you start now and you, like, try to get them on your side, they could indeed be allies. But you would have to get over your, like, aversion to this in the first place, right? And also their, like, reverence for the mold warps and the alien technology as well. So.
Oh my.
Oh my, indeed.
And for the reference, for canon's sake, They are called. This is actually a faction that I made. That I put secretly on the map, among several that I did this with. And they are called the Ones Below. And this is their symbol. There you go. There they are. There they are on the map.
One thing's for sure, their lives truly below.
All right. Well, I'm not quite sure how I feel about
Jordan, you're
this.
muted.
I just said, and Seth wasn't above that pun.
Nah, you're right.
And then I'm assuming what dangers is it hiding? Is it's hiding the moldwarps?
Exactly right. The dangers that it's hiding is the fact that if you fail to get them on your side, they could be horrible, horrible enemies to you, right? Because they indeed do follow the moldwarps for now.
Oh man, Cinnamon's
Cinnamon can just turn tail and run right now and just be like, I did not about this.
Well, the thing is that I think Cinnamon knows that. I have a -1 to sway. She understands that, like, she is not.
Hey, Too Long is good at this though.
Yes, I do have. So, like, what's Find Common Ground do? That's like.
Find Common Ground is what you roll to like make a deal with someone.
So I do get plus lore to that roll instead.
Yeah.
And also Familiar Face, what does Familiar Face do?
Familiar Face is when you need an ally in a settlement. It's like circles, basically.
Oh, okay. So, like, okay. I don't think that would apply.
Because you have your special move here, because you don't have, even though you have like this weird cultural barrier, because of your move, you could go into the town, roll Familiar Face, and find a person who would actually be friendly with you and help you out.
Right. Okay. And I get to roll plus lore with that instead of
sway.
Sway. Okay. So, okay. She could do this. I just don't know if I want to. Oh, man.
And unless you found like a way to get your allies into the temple too, you have to do this alone. Because you only found the one crevice tunnel like that leads into the place, right? You don't know where it connects right now.
I'll teach you the ways.
Yeah, so up to you. You could also just like leave it for now and then maybe come back later, right?
I know. I'm just trying to like look through like my stuff here. So the strength of the pack here, Caleb, real quick, under the Clan of Ancient Mysteries, it says the strength of a pack, add +1 quality to any group of followers entirely made of members of your family. When they act as one, both character and followers roll with advantage.
Nice.
So is this something like if I were to get like Too Long in here somehow, like I get to roll with advantage? Is that what that is?
I think that's referring to followers as specifically like your scavengers, is like the group of people you have. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Got it. Oh man. I don't know if I just want to like, hey, I'll try. You want to make it up to my family? Here. Get in there.
Shove you through the hole. As it stands right now, Arturin cannot get through the crevice.
Cannot get through the crevice, yeah. Okay. How would I what kind of move would I have to do to get more people to be able to get in here?
So you would have to roll something like Forge a Path or let's see. That might be the only thing is you'd have to try to roll Forge a Path again. But I mean, to be honest, you that was what you rolled to make it clear that you couldn't get there except for just by yourself. So it's probably true that other tunnels exist that you could go through, but I think right now in this situation, Cinnamon can't
just-
roll again on the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, I think Cinnamon's gonna go back and explain what the heck she just found.
Arturin's eyes widen.
I think you all need to be prepared to leave, but I think I need to see this through.
I think everyone's like, I already wasn't prepared to leave.
I don't think Everill's here, remember, because he couldn't even fit through the
Oh,
tunnels
you
in the
didn't
first place.
You didn't come up. Okay, sorry. I thought you
Yeah,
came like
no, just to the
out.
point where we're in the tunnels, and I'm like,
Gotcha.
I think you all need to be prepared to leave. I'm gonna begin a conversation with these people. See if they'd be willing to join us.
Sounds good.
So just like want to prepare them in case they
Yeah.
hear terrible things going on down there.
I
Run.
I wish that I could like give a pep talk and basically give her the words that Too Long would speak.
If
Since
you
Too
wanted
Long's-
to describe yourself doing that right now, I'm fine with you rolling aid later. Right? Like when she makes the roll to like have done this in the past. That's fine. Right? So we would describe you doing it now, whether or not like, and then have you roll later for this quote unquote flashback.
Oh, I meant like, because I assume that I'm among this area. Am I here? I figured.
Yeah. So what I was saying is because you're here with Cinnamon right now, you could
Yeah.
describe yourself coaching her and saying
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
what you should say, and then when she has to make the roll, you can roll to aid her if she gets a low roll.
I see.
Based
okay.
on this
Yeah.
description you're giving right now.
Okay,
right?
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That works for me. Great.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, let's just go ahead and make the roll and see how it goes. I mean, are you doing a familiar face first, I assume?
I would assume I probably have to, right? Because I'm not just gonna like
Probably,
trot in
yeah.
and be like, "Hey,
Exactly.
what up?"
That
You
makes the most
know?
sense. Because if this
People-
goes terribly wrong, then that's a good break point, and we can like, you have to escape from the underground city, right? But
She
Right.
just goes, "What's going on, worm lovers? I'm here to be your new friend."
worm lovers,
I'm here to set you free from your oppressors.
indeed. Where's a firebrand when you need him?
I know. All right. Well, yep. So I guess that would be roll plus lore.
Yep, because of
I'm
your-
gonna spend the data on this.
Good thing you saved it.
Well, I got one through this, so that's
Yeah.
good. Okay, so rolling lore with advantage.
Yep. All right. If Jordan wants to roll his sway to make that a full success, he can, based on the. Well, or he could save his advantage or his aid for a later sway roll.
What would you
'Cause
prefer, Alyssa?
Because he can't make it worse, right? Like,
He can make it worse. If he fails his aid roll, then it immediately lowers to a failure.
oh, because it would go down to like if he rolled a 1, it would go down to
if he rolled
6.
like a 6 or high, or lower,
Well-
then your result would become a 6 or lower.
It would.
Yeah, so it says for call for aid, if they fail, your result drops to a 6 minus, and they share in the consequences. Because you had already gotten a 6 minus the first time we did this, I didn't say that part of it. Like the only part that would have mattered in that moment was the sharing of the consequences. But technically, that is what happens. But he is rolling sway for this, and it's unlikely he gets a 6 minus.
I have 2 to sway.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you want to save it in case you need it for something else coming
So
up here.
I'm sorry. What would he actually have to? I guess I'm confused with how aid works. Like,
So
I
aid
thought it was.
he's making his separate roll, and if he gets a 10, then your result increases by 1 category. On a 7 to 9, that happens, but they also share in your move's consequences. So, for example, if he was rolling, and you had gotten a 6 and he got a 7 and 9, it would increase it to a 7 and 9, but he would also share in whatever minor compromise or whatever failure happens there. If he fails, then the result immediately drops to a failure itself, and he shares in the consequences.
So in other words, if I roll a 7 or higher, then neither of us have to suffer any consequences, and it's totally fine.
Yep. Based on your roll right now, yeah, because you already have a 7 and 9.
Mm-hmm. Right, I see what you're saying. I mean, I'm probably going to have to roll again, though, right?
If you actually want to make allies of them, then yeah, you're going to roll common ground. So
I don't know. I feel like
I would wait.
So as of right now, I'll just read off what 7 and 9 means for familiar face, right?
Okay.
When you look for old friends in a new settlement, roll plus sway, right? And this is, you get to make this move even though you don't know people because of your special thing. On a hit, you find someone. On a 7 and 9, you pick 2 out of these good things. On a 10 plus, you would be able to pick 3 of them. The options are, this is in character moves. You don't owe them. They're influential in the settlement. They're not tied up in their own crisis, and they're already interested in your current predicament. So you would be able to choose 2 of the 4 or 3 of the 4 if Jordan made the roll and succeeded. So if there's like, if 3 of those like really matter to you, then I would go for it. Otherwise,
Yeah. I think I'll pick 2. They're influential in the settlement. I think that's important.
Yep.
Then I'm not quite sure what it means by they're already interested in your current predicament.
So this would be someone who already doesn't like the mold warps and wants their society to change, right?
Okay, then I think that would be what it is, right?
Okay, so you will owe them after this, and they're already tied up in their own crisis. Is the options then?
I think that makes sense, though.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think we should probably take a break either way here. But I also don't necessarily want us to spend too much time on this, especially if it's just going to be Alyssa's character doing stuff, right? We don't want. So maybe we just fast track part of this. Yeah, let's just press on for right now. Finish this sequence with a couple of rolls, and then take a break, and then come back and do one more thing before we end. So I think you find a one below, whatever they're called, right? And for more description of them, they fight with reinforced bones. So they have like these reinforced like warp metal bones, so like Wolverine style, kind of in their system, and they're all hunched over and grossly deformed because of them. And I didn't choose one of these options. And they also have boosted muscles as defense, so implanted and mobile. So they, as I described before, right, they've been implanting a bunch of this alien technology in them that makes them stronger and faster and stuff. But I think you find one of these dudes. Oh, here we go. Here's another description of them. They wear cloaks and practical leathers as well. So lots of dark brown clothing, and they're underground, obviously. I think you find one of these guys who is currently in the middle of like being harassed or is on trial for something. He's already an outcast in his own society. What do you think it is?
Maybe this is like one of those like I don't know if they have politicians, but like the equivalent of that, right? Where like like I think their religious society is probably in charge in this case, but like they're trying to like form some kind of, he's trying to like get them to be like, no, we don't need to worship the mold warps. Like, they're our allies, but like they're not gods, whatever. Maybe
so
I don't know.
Like, he's some sort of demagogue or idealist who's trying to like he's open air preaching about this predicament that his society is in, is trying to get them to change. And like I think the language is deformed. Like you like in terms of the normal language that's spoken around these parts. There's certainly like a weird slang version of it from living down here and being influenced by the alien technology, but you can still understand it well enough to like get the gist of what he's saying. But yeah, they're literally in the faction list here, governed by priests worshiping an alien artifact. So this is certainly true. And the actual like thing on the map here is a structure built by ancient humans inspired by your ancestors. So when the mold warps first came, these are the humans who built a temple to them, basically, right? They're like, oh, our gods have descended from the sky, and now we must worship them. But yeah, you find this person preaching, and again, hunched over dude in like a cloak, and he's like, he has all the lookings of a like the end is near prophet on the side of the street, right? Ragged and disheveled, and he's like, "No, my brothers, you must listen to me. There will come a time when the mold warps destroy us all. They do not care for us. You see the way their technology twists our bodies. You must listen to me." And they're like throwing rocks at him and stuff, right? What do you do to actually befriend him? Do you like stop them? Do you wait until everyone's done harassing him and then go up and like help heal his wounds? Like, what does that look like?
Probably that, because like I don't think she doesn't want to be out in the open, because then they're just gonna be like what do you call it, intruder,
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, who's this foxy chick?
Yeah, I think like probably what happens is he gets run off into an alley somewhere, right? In this large, and there's probably like makeshift structures and things built in this temple complex. And he's like in like an alley and like near a trash pile, like rubbing his
but this doesn't really
and
go with his description of he's influential in the settlement.
He probably has his own. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Just saying, that's one of them that I picked, so I want to make sure.
Yeah, I was going off the like he's in the middle of his own crisis, right? That's what I was keen on to, is he's being harassed for his idealism. So I think maybe it's just like he has gone to the bad part of town, the part of town that doesn't listen to people like him. And maybe let's say this, it's not just him, like there's a couple of his followers that are there too. So there's like a side of he's influential, but like there's with the side that doesn't want to follow the mold warps anymore. And so, like, a couple of his followers are there too, like, oh, don't worry, brother, whatever. I need to generate a name for this guy. Let's do Germanic name generator. Actually, let's do Polish. Let's say this guy's name is Victor.
Victor.
Yeah. So yeah, his followers are like, "Do not worry, brother Victor. One day they will come to understand, even if sacrifices must be made." And that's when you appear, I assume. Fox spirit.
Right when she appears, there's a guy who's just like, oh, so wait. So they all
they're all the
like
mold.
they've right, but I mean they are all like the crowd is dispersed, right? Like the people who
I think like basically what happened is like they are throwing stones at this guy and his followers, and they like ran off into an alley to like nurse their wounds.
I just imagine one of the guys in the that was throwing stuff is like, "To the Victor goes the soil."
That's pretty funny. Yeah, so what does that look like?
So I think, Cinnamon kind of like earlier, right? She like suddenly like kind of appears from like behind like a dumpster or something like that. And they're probably like, oh my goodness. And I like kind of scamper.
I have never seen anything so beautiful.
Thank you.
That's Victor talking.
And, her mouth opens, she says, oh, thank you.
Who are you? You must be a spirit come to guide us in our time of need.
Yes, exactly. No, just kidding. She didn't say that. She just goes, I have come from above ground to seeking allies.
Above? No, there is nothing above. All is below. We are the last.
We have settlements up above that are safe.
They all look at each other like, what?
That are away from the mold warps.
Away.
You maybe mention the fact that there's some people that fight them in really freaking cool drill cars.
We even have those who slay the mold warps.
Impossible.
No, I've seen it. And she just goes, I understand that this may be a shock to you. But if you wish to escape here, as you say you have so boldly out there, perhaps we can work together.
That sounds like a roll to me.
Okay, find common ground.
Yep.
Roll plus lore. Should I roll with advantage? I got one more data.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most important ones.
Probably.
You know what I just realized?
What?
This is the epitome of Wonder Pets. Wonder Pets, we're on our way to help a baby animal and save a day.
I don't know what that is.
I sadly do know what that is.
What's gonna work? Teamwork.
So yeah, go for it. And if you fall short,
okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use my last data to roll with advantage. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Partial success. Do you want to roll your sway then to Jordan?
I can if Alyssa wants me to now. It's
I
still
just
a
don't want
success.
To fail, yeah.
If you fail,
I think, you know, if you're wanting to, is this the role to win them over?
More or less. So yeah, as a reminder of what this will mean, find common ground. This is the difference between picking 2 or picking 1 criteria that has to be met to get them on your side. So they get to choose either 2 or 1 based on how high you get. So as of right now, they'll get to choose 2 criteria that you have to meet in order to ally with them.
Okay, let me see.
So for my 2 sway, does that mean it's +2, or does that mean it's 2 additional dice?
+2.
Okay. So I'd need to roll a 4. No, I need to roll a 5 or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Jordan. I might regret this, but we'll see.
So I would have, in order to fail, I'd have to roll. It takes 2 dice?
Yeah, you'd have to roll like 2 2s or lower than that.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
It's very unlikely, but you know,
it's possible, yeah.
It's still possible.
So roll type standard?
Yep.
Modifiers none?
Yep. All right, that's all you needed. Right, because he shares in the consequences, but there are no consequences because it gets bumped up too. Well, I guess there are. I guess there still are consequences because it's just basically, you will be too long will be bound to help this criteria be fulfilled for them. So yeah, you've asked them to work with you, and they will do it if, and I choose one of these things. So a third party vouches for you. They can change specific parts of the task. They can back out as soon as it costs them. You reduce the threat you pose to them. You give them something now that's worth it. You reveal your full agenda here, or their faction or family gets 1 treaty on you. So after you succeed on this roll, there will still need to be a roll for them to like take over the right. But this is you basically telling them like, we have your back. Go ahead and do your revolution, and the people from above will help you, right? Like, you won't be alone, and you can throw off the mold warps. And because the reason why they wouldn't revolt right now is because they're afraid of the mold warps. And if you say, no, there are people above who literally kill them, we can come kill them for you. Like, don't worry about that.
But honestly, here's the thing. Obviously, you wouldn't know this necessarily, but there's a group of Hicks in drill cars that would love to kill them.
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
old warps. And
And
here
in
they
fact,
know, like,
because you know where they are, you can actually give them an advantage to help them.
exactly.
Yeah. So, what do we think makes the most sense for them to choose in this instance? Then,
Was it third part? Was one of them third party?
Third party vouches for you.
There's literally people just up the tunnel that could say like, "Hello, look at our weapons."
Right. Okay. I think that makes sense. They'll say a third party vouches for you, but now the trick will be this, right? You have to get Arturin and your other fox friends, right? To come meet with these people to convince them. So they're thinking maybe you're just like a ghostly apparition who's like going to come and leave them and it's all an illusion or hallucination or something. They're like, we need like to meet more people. You say there's people up above, like prove it to us, right? So this means that now Cinnamon has to find a way to get them into the city.
Can't they just follow them up above?
I would say they can fit through the tunnels. Can't they just come?
They can't fit through the tunnel you found. There are other tunnels leading out of here, but they are guarded by people who don't like this sect. That's the trick, right? So Cinnamon will now have to make a roll to attempt to find or secure a way out of this temple that leads back to her friends. Because you're on the inside of the temple, you could just roll Forge a Path again if you would like to. Like, this is a different situation. Or you could make some sort of roll to, like, convince guards or whatever.
Man, I'm still not in hostile grounds, am I?
You are definitely in hostile grounds now, I think.
Oh, okay. So
I think you are.
It's funny you want to be in hostile grounds.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much like of the alien technology here. I think.
So I think but it just lets me, when I'm in hostile grounds, it just lets me pick 2. I don't think I actually have to roll.
Yeah. So when you lead an expedition through hostile grounds, then you get to choose.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, so, yeah. I don't think this matters for this situation. The idea here is if you
but I can roll plus steal, correct?
You can, roll plus steal if you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what you're doing, right? You're just trying to, from the inside now, trying to find a new tunnel.
Okay. I will do that. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. Well,
partial success means 7 and 9, you pick 2. You're exposed to danger as you travel. The route you took is lost. You can't take gear or other characters with you, or it takes a lot longer than you expected.
Already doesn't have people with her.
I was going to say, you have to, I think, choose you're exposed to danger as you travel, and it takes a lot longer than you expected.
Right.
Because the route you took being lost doesn't work because you need to get back this way. And you have to be able to take other people with you.
Man. Sucks.
It's taking forever.
But do I still get to pick 2 of my things, though? Like, you leave no tracks, you remain unseen, you travel in.
I think those can count
safely.
I think those can count now, except for the danger that you're exposed to. You can, because you did fail the roll partially, and so that will happen. But you can pick 2 of these, and for the rest of the scenario involving you leading them into the temple and like getting them to meet the people, you can choose 2 of those options for that whole thing.
Okay.
So don't choose travel safely because that's already out of the question. That's just not an option at this point. But 2 of the other.
Yeah, I mean,
options.
I think remaining unseen and leave no tracks makes sense, right? Like, we're going to run into danger, but it's going to be like maybe a smaller thing than if...
So I'm thinking you find an isolated patrol of the ones below that are on the wrong side of things, and you have to fight them off now before you can get into the temple. So, but again, we can just make the one roll out of this basically. This is I think Arturin and everybody else is here now. So whoever is basically best at fighting out of those people. I have a 1 in force. And he has a sword.
I also have a 1 in force, but I also have better weapons. Right? I have a 1 in force as well.
Yeah, I mean, do we want to say that this is Everil also being able to get access to all this stuff? I mean, in theory, I was thinking like you just go back to where Arturin and them are in the tunnels, but this could also just be you have, because you succeeded on the Forge a Path roll. This could be like you found a separate set of tunnels that like lead back where you were, and they're bigger than the other ones, and so everybody can get down here if they want to. That's probably a good narrative option, I think.
We probably want out from the vultures too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I mean, just because then you could also for the revolution you can bring the guards too, right? The bodyguards.
Exactly.
For us, I think that makes sense because then the last days profiteers can actually help in this scenario, right? Fulfill their promise. Okay, cool. So was this just like Arturin making a roll to fight off the ones below them, since he's the fighty guy?
Probably.
Actually, what is your force? You said, Seth?
Also 1.
It's also 1. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense for Arturin to make the roll then.
I do have
actually let's have you make the roll, Seth, since you're the actual player in this situation.
I also have the narrow field bodyguard. I don't know how that helps.
I believe that you get advantage on it.
When you use your skills, reveal a secret about the situation and get fleeting advantage on acting on it.
Yep. So up to you then. What is that fleeting? What is that secret?
The secret.
I mean, you could tell us something about the ones below, like, oh, they have a weakness, and this is it. You could stab below, whatever.
The secret is a tunnel.
Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel. No secret about the situation. Me. I'm trying to think of something that's a secret, not just a backstory. Since we've fought mold, we know these are mold warp people. We know what mold warp weaknesses are. These probably have the same exact weakness.
Similar weaknesses, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And so we just use that to fight. And
cool.
Roll force with advantage.
With advantage, yep.
And that's modifier 1?
Yeah. Or no, you wouldn't put any modifiers down. It's already considered the... Actually, yes. Our guards are not giving you a bonus, but they are allowing you to do more damage with the roll.
No. I'm talking about the agent. When you use your skills, reveal a secret. So does that give me a +1 modifier?
No, it's advantage. So instead of saying standard on that first option, you do advantage.
Okay. So this is the first roll I've done tonight. Sorry.
Yeah.
And roll partial success.
All right. So on a 7 and 9, you do use an appropriate weapon to hurt, capture, or drive off your enemies. You do it. But on a 7 and 9, you choose 1, and the GM chooses 2. So right. Seth, this is in character moves, fiercely assault. Go ahead and choose 1 from the character list, and I'll choose 2 from the GM list.
Fiercely assault. Okay, This is where my character dies. And I couldn't have rolled a data to get extra advantage, right? Because I already have advantage.
You already had advantage, yeah.
Okay.
Can't get double advantage just like D&D.
Are you aware of any systems that do let you get double advantage?
I am not.
I think the thing that makes the most sense. Let me know if you guys think this is right. I think the best thing, given the situation, to do is you inflict savage, terrifying harm, frightening, and dismaying your foes.
So I will tell you right now, I don't think you have to choose that option because you have the brutal tag for your weapon.
True.
I think you do enough damage already to just kill them. Scavenging device might be cool because they have all this weird alien technology on them.
That's true. I wasn't thinking about that. But yeah, we'll go with. I don't think data won't help me because this is for the NPC class.
Exactly.
And your avenue of escape is clear. I think we already kind of know what our avenue of escape is. But yeah, I think I'll just go with scavenger device.
Perfect. Yeah, so luckily in theory, this will be for the Last Days Profiteers, but technically we could give it to the Clan of Ancient Mysteries, depending on how things go down here. So I'm going to choose something or someone important is harmed, and you take harm as appropriate. So I'm just going to make both my character and your character take harm. So I'm going to get, so it's 3 harm. So mark 3 of those harm boxes.
Drained, winded, and not dead. Hurt, -1 to sway. Probably because I'm pissed right now.
Okay, sure. So I got cosmetic wounds, angry, and then shell shocked. So -1 for steel. Yeah, so we do most of the fighting, right? You guys are not having to do that.
You said the guards don't do anything.
You just kill them. We yeah, right? Like they
the quality 2 bodyguards.
The bodyguards are fighting, but basically the idea is they expand the narrative positioning that we have with our fighting. So if we could have fought a bigger force and been just as fine, but they don't actually give us a bonus is the idea mechanically. Yeah, so I think we just massacre them pretty. Like we get hurt. We don't know what these things are, right? Like this is the first time we're fighting them. Even though you can like bring up their weaknesses and stuff, we still only got a partial success. So it's like it was a tough fight, but we did pull out and they're all dead. From there, I think we get led into the temple, right? We meet with the ones below that are on against the mold warps, and that's all they need to try to do their revolution. In which case,
quick question, Caleb. Maybe I'm not understanding what this. Oh, so this is 3d6. Keep the highest 2 of them.
Yep,
that's what this is. Okay, sorry, I was just looking at this, going like, wait, I should have rolled a 10. Why is this not adding up correctly?
Yeah, the grayed out one is the one that's
yes, dropped. I understand now.
Mm-hmm. So I think this is probably you again, Seth, making a roll to help them with their fighting, because like I believe this is going to be a violent revolution. I don't think there's much of a chance of them convincing people. I guess you could try. You know what? Up to you, Alyssa. What would you want them to do? What would you impress upon them as the fox spirit who has showed them the light? What would you tell them is now upon us? Like, what are we going to do to get the revolution started? How are you going to change the faction?
I mean, she would definitely try less violent means.
Sure.
You're asking warriors to use less violent means. Not gonna happen.
No, I mean, like, we'll definitely kill anybody that gets in our way. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's like, you know,
is this too long then? Stepping up to make a because he's also a fox spirit. He could show himself to the populace and be like help Victor, right, to convince the populace like there is stuff above ground, like there is hope.
Y'all needs to take a chill pill and come up to the surface where it's much better.
We've got cookies.
Cool. Is that what's happening? Too long?
I think so. That's what Cinnamon would prefer, but
right, exactly. I think that's fine. Like you've convinced them to this enough at this point, and I don't think they want violence if they don't have to have it. To at least try this avenue, right? Cool. Yeah, so too long. What do you actually say? Right? This would probably be during one of Victor's speeches, right? He goes to one of the biggest, most populated places and starts making a speech. The people are booing and harassing him, and that's when you show yourself as a fox spirit, right? And then try to sway the crowd.
Yeah, I think he says something along the lines of, hate and strife are a common experience, not only among your people, but among mine and all peoples. The unfortunate circumstances that we find ourselves in can either be darkly embraced to keep us from moving forward, or we can venture out, step outside of our comfort zones, and learn to move forward. change is not any sort of easy endeavor. But life isn't easy. But I will say this. The air's a lot less stuffy up above on the surface. Are the skies blue? This is something we have not established.
It is not something we have established. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be blue. It's not like the mold warps are pouring toxic gas into the atmosphere or anything.
Okay. So, the skies, blue as the eye can see. As far as the eye can see. The sun, beautifully piercing. So powerful that even gazing upon it can be painful. I don't know. Grass, trees, even the sands, the mold warps leave in their wake, have their own strange beauty to them. It is a world and a life worth experiencing and enjoying. But you have to choose it. It can't be chosen for you. So get off your lazy butts, no. That's very probably.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting the whole time. Is that cool? Yeah, make the roll.
Clickety clay, I roll to sway.
Very good. Yeah, so partial success here means this is find common ground. Actually, maybe it isn't find common ground. Because find common ground is when you ask someone to work with you. Oh, I guess this is the rest of the city to work with you guys, right? So as it stands right now, unless you want to have someone aid you or something, you would be picking. I would be picking 2 that you would have to meet to get the city on your side.
I have a question. Would humane apply here? When you ease another's suffering, say what they realize you have in common, you have advantage to find common ground with each other.
Oh yeah, that makes total sense. A lot of what you were describing is that, right? Like the world isn't just completely destroyed. There's still hope out there. We're easing your suffering. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and just roll another d6, and if it's higher than that 2, we'll replace it. It is the same. Okay. So
that's unfortunate.
Someone could still roll to like try to help you, but as it stands right now, it is partial.
Someone in the audience, it's just, or someone in like the crowd, is just like, "Are there people as pretty as the fox girl?"
Yeah. We want more fox girls.
Oh, just don't
shake my head.
Cool. So I think the 2 options that they'll choose is you give them something now that's worth it. So you'll have to figure out what that is. And their faction/family gets 1 treaty on you. So this
we've already given them hope.
This would be the Clan of the Ancient Mysteries. Basically, the ones below get some treaty on you because you convince them to do this, and they're kind of tied to you now. But you have to figure out what the something is that's worth it to them. As long as you can provide them that, the city is yours.
You can have these bodyguards. Just kidding.
I was like a little afraid. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
No. I don't know if I have anything to offer them right now.
Wait.
I mean, as a family, you have surpluses, right?
Right.
I have deep pockets. When you look in your satchel for a helpful item, find it, but choose one. It's fragile. It's got a fight effect, or it's precious to you. What are we trying to convince them of right now?
So you're trying to convince the city, basically, the rest of the ones below that still worship the mold warps, to turn against the mold warps because the outside is still fighting against the mold warps. So this would have to be something that would convince them of that.
I know what it is then. It's some of the metal that comes from the inside of the mold warps. It's very precious, but it shows they can be killed. Probably what it is.
The issue with that one is technically they also use this metal. That's part of the stuff that's in their body. They don't just you don't just get it from killing them. They just secrete it normally after they eat stuff.
Do you get more from killing them?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a big lump of it that comes out of
maybe
their
maybe what it is. It's like because we've established these things have teeth, right?
Yes.
Because didn't like Jordan's character last time like try and take a tooth as a trophy or something? Or am I thinking of a different?
I think
game?
They must have something like that. Like either at the very least jaws.
Here's what I'll say it is. Then if it's not something like that, it's some sort of trophy taken.
It's a trophy, right? Okay.
Taken off the dead body of one of them. To show like this, and obviously this was important. This shows that he killed one. But if it's going to make them realize that they can be killed,
this shows that they're killable.
Yes.
Yeah. No. I think that's a great answer to the question because then the last day, the Last Days Profiteers are pulling their weight here, right? They're like, we're offering this as like part of the thing to make sure this happens. It's precious to you because it's a trophy of one of the only of those things that you've killed. But
it's probably a smaller one.
Yeah, it's probably like a tentacle or something, right? Something like that.
Something that wouldn't decay.
Yeah, probably a tooth then, like a big tooth. Maybe you like had it on your back as like a shield or something, and you show it to them.
Haven't you heard of tooth decay?
Oh, cool. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So I think from there, right, the city revolts and the faction has now turned against the mold warps and is now allied with the Clan of Ancient Mysteries, right?
So are they going to come to the surface with us or are they going to stay here?
No, I think they'll stay here, but now they can do expeditions to the surface and help, right?
Okay.
I think there's going to have to be some sort of longer process to make this part of the wasteland part of the homeland as well, right? They're still technically in the wasteland right now, but there could be a whole thing to like rid this area of mold warps so that the ones below are completely safe from them, and then we could probably add it to the homeland at that point, right? As like one of the safe areas. So that could be a whole thing, but right now they're at least on your side. They're beginning to wage the war against the mold warps. Now we just need to get the Talpavaroi on in on this, and then they can go to town, right? Cool. Yeah. So let's zoom out then. At this point, there's no point in taking a break. We're almost over. Let's zoom out, I think, right? And figure out what the like consequences of this are for family stuff.
Okay.
So story moves. Zooming out. When events move from zoomed-in scenes to the bigger picture and actions covering weeks and months become important, each player whose main character wasn't involved picks one. So Seth and Jordan, you guys get to pick one of these options. So we'll catch up real quick with what Mickey and Darren were doing during this time. So this is in story moves, zooming out. You get to choose one of these options. You found a new place in your family. You went scavenging in the wasteland. You scouted for information. You helped another family or faction, or you discovered a new danger.
What's the tech give us?
So tech is the same as devices. Device is what they're called at a character level. Tech is what they're called at a family level. At a family level, tech can be spent to get advantage on a family roll.
I might take one tech.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the Talpavaroi are continuing their scavenging of mold warp materials. Oh, what about Mickey?
Oh,
we can mark for Mickey, mark a new role and just say he has now become the leader of the family, like he was trying to do.
Oh, geez, please.
Hey, you could also mark Mickey as an outsider. You could push him further out of your family. Yeah, there's plenty of options there to choose from.
Yeah. No. Outsider doesn't make sense because. Wait, okay, hold on. It says mark when your family betrays your creed. So it's not the family's creed, it's just.
It's your creed, yeah.
Okay.
Name a principle. Those who break at this age risk ruin.
My creed is I'm always right.
Right, exactly. You cross Mickey, ruin.
You cross Mickey! You're dumb! What's that word for?
Yeah, up to you.
So yeah, I'll probably. I'll take outsider.
Okay, yeah. So basically, I mean, it
So
seemed
am
like
I
to me
outsider
that
and traitor at the same time now?
no, you continue to mark traitor, but now you are an outsider, right?
I see.
You betrayed your family, and now you're an outsider. So I think what basically happened is this faction that we've been considering that like started appearing, that you stole from, that was like going to be against you guys, has found way more voice in the faction than Mickey wanted, and now you've been pushed out. You're still part of the faction, but you're like an outsider to it and have your own agenda and stuff. Are going to try to influence the family at that point.
I like it.
As soon as Mickey is completely ousted, I think the family will probably be reunited again fully. But Mickey's on the way out is the idea, I think. What's the principle that those who break at this age risk ruin? Is it literally just don't cross Mickey?
Yeah, I think that's basically like.
Sounds good.
I'm
yeah,
right,
it makes
you're
sense.
wrong.
Mickey's still powerful, right? Like that's part of the issue here is even though he's an outsider, he still has followers, he still has tech. So yeah. Okay. From that, obviously the ones below change, and I can do that off screen here. But I think the agreement between the guild and the clan happens, right? So we now have a treaty that basically amounts to leave each other alone and be nice to each other, right?
Right.
I think if that's like, I mean, we did some major stuff there and helped, so I don't think we have to like give you any extra gifts beyond that based on the roll that we made.
No.
So it sounds like we're good to go, which means the guild does get some tech from that device we scavenged. That's fun. Get some warp metal weirdness. Is there any consequence from this that would affect family level stuff? Specifically for the Clan of Ancient Mysteries, I'm thinking. Let's see. Right? Because like safety, recruits, fresh water are your needs right now. Your whole purpose in doing this was recruits. Would you not be disgusted by the idea of some of the ones below joining your faction? Because then you can. I think that's a possible outcome here, right? Based on your whole plan was to get more recruits.
But they speak with their mouths. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly are nowhere near the sort of like nature badger spirits you wanted to find, but.
Right.
I'll say this. If you want to go along with that, I'll let you erase recruits, but then your family will have to roll to hold together because you guys will and you basically roll plus mood. Basically there'll be someone in your faction who won't like that idea. And you'll have to like roll to see how well the faction gets along.
Yeah, I have a -1 in mood, so I don't know if I really want to.
If you erase recruits, it will go to a 0.
Oh, mood will go to a 0. I see.
Because that's what determines mood is the amount of surpluses and needs you have.
I see. Okay.
So up to you.
This is under family moves?
Family moves, yeah. So hold together basically. If you fail,
Mm-hmm.
You could get a need, you could get someone get treaty on you, or the danger could change. If on a 10+, the trial brings you together and you would get a surplus.
Well, so okay, if I fail this, I might just need recruits again. My family will come through to help.
If we choose that option, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Cinnamon is opposed to like them coming. Like, help is help, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, basically the idea here would be a shift for the family's priorities and like preferences.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, seems like the spirits are mostly the other spirits are mostly gone.
I think that's probably what you found, right? Is like we're the last spirits. That means we have to have allies from other people, right?
Right. Like we can't just, only rely on each other. We have to adapt. So yeah.
Which is interesting. Yeah, I like that.
So I'll erase recruits.
Okay.
So that makes my mood a 0. And so now I need to roll that.
You just roll mood, and that will determine whether or not your family holds together after that shift. Oof.
Ooh,
ouch. That's a 3.
That's a failure.
Yep.
Yeah, that's no fun.
Yeah. So, where is this? Our options are you lose people to harm and or desertion, get need recruits. So you could just have fox people leave now that you have right some of the or another family or faction came through to help you, give them 1 treaty on you, or the danger hasn't passed so much as it shifted into something more manageable. Say what it is. I think this will also mean because you failed, I'll do some sort of other GM move, so some other thing will happen in the background here.
But because I failed, I thought all of those happened to me now. Because it says on a hit, no, you're remain right. Mostly okay. Pick one.
It's not that all of them happen to you. Basically, just means you failed to do so, and I get to make a move as a GM, to decide like how badly it goes. So in this case, let's take a look. So basically, your family's not like some of you are fine with it, right? But other parts of the family are like, no. Fox spirits for fox, like the Sacred Glen is only for the fox spirits. Like, get them out of here. They're tainted. They're disgusting. And so I think the reaction I'll choose here is I'm not going to mess with your surpluses or needs. That would just be cruel at this point, right? Because
thanks.
But there should be some other thing. Let me take a look at your playbook, see if there's anything in there I could twist here. I'm just gonna give let's just have the ones below get 2 more treaty on you, right? You just like you're way more tied to them than you wanted to be at this point. So they could spend that on you to do things to you and force you to help them and stuff. So basically you just have a lot of things you have to help them with now.
I mean, makes sense. They're literally surrounded by
Yep.
words that they, So now I don't have a surplus of recruits, correct? It's just that it's just no longer.
You just got the need removed. Yeah. So you have all the recruits you need, but you could have more. That would be great. So on you, I just go in and added that to your treaty there. And this also means narratively that there's now a schism, not like an actual schism, but like a schism of opinion between people in the Clan of Ancient Mysteries, whether or not these people are okay or not.
I already made one tool joke this episode. Okay.
That's good. People have a lot of treaty on us.
Yeah. It makes sense though that this would be the case because I mean these are literally deformed alien technology corrupted humans. Like it's honestly very nice, very compassionate of Cinnamon in the first place to even give them the time of day, given her faction. So it makes sense that the Foxes would not all be in one accord about this. All right, cool. I think the only other thing that's we should consider in terms of family stuff is the Guild of Last-Days Profiteers. Whether or not this like treaty that they made with you gave them anything in particular. So they have needs right now of recruits, medicine, and barter goods. I'm thinking maybe we erase barter goods for them since part of the whole thing was that you were like raiding their caravans and like harassing them. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
It's like now you guys have some peace and you, both of your families are better for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea. Perfect. So their mood goes up to 0 as well. Awesome. So I'm thinking the next thing we do when we pick up next time with this is we take the fight to the mold warps, right? Have some Talpalvaroy and whoever else wants to join go clear out some space for the ones below and get them in on this fight against the fight for the world. That could be fun. All right. Any other last things that anyone wants or needs to accomplish before we wrap up?
I think Too Long would have one more like brief word to what's his
Cinnamon.
face? Yeah, to no, not to Cinnamon, to
Arturin.
Yeah, it's probably to Arturin. And he just says, I warn you, trust is not so easily kept. Forgiveness comes easy to the eldest of our people, having mellowed in our old age. The youngest among us are too inexperienced to understand, and are shapeable towards trust or mistrust. Yet passion burns bright in the flaming prime of our kind.
Yeah,
Do
he
with that what
nods
you
and,
will.
Yeah, he nods and he says, I find myself fortunate then to have met a young member of your clan who is still so wise and compassionate.
As we are all fortunate for her.
Yeah, we get a close up on Cinnamon as she like helps some of the ones below like come and join their family, and she's like smiling at them and whatever. And we get a close up, and the music lifts, and Arturin says as a voiceover, like, she may just be what we need to weather the storm that is coming. Done.
She may just save the world.
Da 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 da.
Turns out Cinnamon's the main character.
Yeah. I thought Kanan was the main character, and then he died first session. So
yeah, look, as long as Mickey isn't the main character, I'm fine.
Yeah, no, I don't think he is. Alrighty, well, I think we can probably wrap up our legacy game there. Very fun. Look at you, Cinnamon, being so nice. Good job. I'm actually surprised it actually worked. So
me too, honestly. I thought I was going to be running there for sure.
No,
but she's like, I think Cinnamon understands, that we're in desperate situations and that we have to change, in order to survive. Yep. Especially now that we know that there's no other spirits. We're the last of them. So
well, adapt or die.
You're the last spirits, except for those vultures that we don't want to talk about.
We don't talk about the vultures.
Yep. Cool. Do we know anything more now that Emily doesn't have the same situation that she had before? Do we know if we still don't know anything about
Nope.
what the schedule's going to be? All right. Well, I guess we'll find out by next Thursday at some point. All of you free next Thursday?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, yeah. Well, at the very least, we'll be doing this. Okie dokie. I think that's it for us. Thanks for playing, guys, and thank you for watching.
And especially you YouTube people who are watching. I saw that
Indeed.
viewer.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't actually see the viewer, but I saw that there was a viewer. So thanks for watching.
There were several viewers. We've actually had 12 views over the course of.
Wow, look at us, so popular.
YouTube has been popular. We've had people in Twitch chat too. So, yeah, it's been good.
We should probably start pulling up those chats again.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I'm monitoring them, so I'm chatting to people.
I look at them every once in a while.
Yeah. Josh Lang has been in chat. Peyton has been in chat.
Peyton.
Yeah. Okie dokie. See you guys. We're out.